Okay guys, so I want to talk about the average long price and the average short price that you see on the dashboard. I've had a few questions on it, and it's probably worth explaining exactly how to use that data. And the core concept, basically what we're doing in the QuasiDB service, is that we're trying to do the opposite of the crowd, knowing how they hold on to losses, and when they're wrong they tend to add to their losing bets, and then they'll encounter a huge drawdown and they'll probably blow up, you know, and it just carries on for eternity, and it's a big liquidation cycle. So we know that the USD, the bears are undergoing drawdown and the bulls are undergoing some drawdown. So they're at 98 pips at a loss, quite heavy, 66 pips at a loss. So what you could do, theoretically, 10732, so we just make a line. So you just go on MetaTrader 4, we just grab that. We know that the short price is going to be down there. So we know the bears, sorry, 10732, okay. That's more or less pretty similar, isn't it? 10732. Okay, enter. That's their break even. And the bulls want it above 108.96, right? So they went long up here. Oops. 108.96, okay? And that's how you can use the information. So I'll tell you what's quite clever about it, is that it tells us where the traps are formed. So this here was a trap because this is the break even. And what they've done, they've held on to their longs since. Now what would be normal behavior is price to be within those two parameters. If we're above, it's slightly unusual because it means that they're getting paid. If we're below, it's slightly unusual. So maybe we'll change the time frame a bit, and we can see the average short price. So it tells us that they've been holding on for a long time. Zoom out. So they've been holding on for crazy amounts here. Wow, this is where they shorted back in June. No, God, that's crazy. Well, anyway, so that's what's happened. That's the average price for the bears. They went short here, which is absolutely bonkers. Price went up, but they've held on, which is ridiculous. So they underwent. No, that's crazy. Well, anyway, that's the average short price now, which is scary, and that's the average long price, okay? So here was the trap for the longs, so we'd fall, and that's the trap for the bears, which is crazy. But so that's how you could potentially use it. So what we should see in speech marks, we should see price within here and in there. So we can do another example where you can perhaps look at something like the dollar yen, maybe, because that's quite popular. Right, now we're going to open the dollar yen chart. So we know 140.27, okay? Come here, UJ. Right, we need to grab another line. And it was 140.27, okay. 140.27, this is crazy. You see how much in drawdown these guys are. It's absolutely mental. Right, so that's the bears break even. They're undergoing a huge loss. Alright, okay, so that's that. And 144.74. So these guys are enjoying some profits. Alright, so let's talk about that in a second. Come back to MetaTrader 4. What was that number? 144.74. And we can grab this line. So 144.74. And that's the average long price. Now the thing is, it tells us that these guys are getting paid. These guys are getting paid. However, that being said, that the bears are undergoing a huge amount of drawdown. So this looks like where they've shorted, and they've held on, and they're just adding to that position, and this is where they've gone long. So this is the trap, and this is the trap. So currently they're undergoing some profits. So that would be slightly strange. So we should see, it's not guaranteed, but we should see price below 144.74, and in between 140 to 27. So we should see price within those parameters. It just tells us that they're getting paid. The bulls, however, the bears are getting destroyed. And the thing is that we have to remember that this is a whole liquidation cycle where inevitably these guys are going to give up. When they do, their average price is going to go higher. So once they've got stopped out and we continue higher, this line is going to gravitate higher because they've got out of the casino, and it's going to come up higher and higher and higher, and then inevitably this is going to get higher as well. And then, you know, because when this moves, it's going to impact this. It's like a big exchange, and then inevitably we'll be within those parameters there, and that's what's going to happen. So what will happen when you see this price, the average short price, go higher? It just tells us that the herd are getting stopped out, and they've basically given up. And the fact that we're so then so much drawdown tells us that they're holding on, which isn't really very good for the market. It's a crypto thing that's happened, is that they're holding on to a particular trade and they're just basically holding on to it and potentially adding, and that doesn't make for a very good healthy market, because there has to be buyers and there has to be sellers, and this tells us that there's a huge amount of sellers but they're holding on. And so that's just a quick one there. So maybe it's useful. You can use these data to put on your chart, and that gives us important levels to work with as well. So we are strongly bullish on UJ. So obviously you wouldn't really want to be looking for sales. Look, we're all green apart from that, and that's obviously a bit of an issue, is that these guys are getting paid slightly, and that's how you can use this particular bit of data. And there's a little video guide there, which this video is now going to take over, and it's going to replace that video there.